Welcome everybody, my name is Mr. Llama and today I am bringing you a TVP and this is going to be on Cloud Kingdom LE. It is going to be between our red Protoss HwangSin, who has sent me a couple of his replays here and is a top Korean Protoss player, well known for his timing pushes, his all-ins, things like that. And spawning down here in the bottom left corner we do have the blue Terran colNada, so also a very well-known player, and this is actually going to be a ladder game between the two of them. So they matched up on the Korean ladder in the Grandmaster League and are gonna go ahead and play it out. So TVP as of late, the Terran right now is strong in that mid game, but the Protoss in the late game just so strong. So really Terran needs to find a way to do that damage before the Protoss can get that death ball up and stuff. Something to note on this map is the thirds are very difficult to hold, or they are a decent distance away and have a lot of attack paths into them. So it probably works a little more in the Terran's favor actually to hold it, as they are a little bit more of a mobile army. And Terrans, of course, can do some drop play right here, dropping right there, picking up, dropping in the main, going back and forth if they wish, and there's plenty of airspace around the back to save your medevacs. Not really over here, but in these two little coves right here, they can drop or pull back their medevacs, hang them up there, and then come in for redropping if necessary. And Protoss players as well should think about dropping warp prisms. Just so effective. So it looks like out of Nada, or not dropping warp prisms, but using warp prism drops and warp-ins, of course, as that is basically an infinite drop in a sort of sense. So it looks like colNada going for that 1 Rax expand. No gas has gone up yet. Just going to get his orbital, save up his money here, and drop an expansion. And we'll have to see how our Protoss player reacts to that. As of now, he is just doing very standard gateway cyber gas, but he is not producing any units out of his gateway right now. So this is going to mean that our Terran player Nada is going to be able to scout around his base for a decent amount of time before he has to leave, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and pull out his SCV anyways, so an interesting choice right there. I would have assumed that he would have kept his unit in the base, or kept his SCV, as he can see when something is being produced, so nothing was on its way. However, it looks like he will leave. He got enough scouting information, and we'll have to see what exactly HwangSin chooses to do. It looks like he's going to chrono boost out a Stalker, and very probable that he drops down an expansion. Yes, the probe has gone down there, so an expansion will be going down. And there's Nada's expansion as well. He went ahead and dropped it in the main, so wants to feel a little bit safer here first, and drop it here, make it an orbital, then lift it off and go land it when he feels safe enough, I suppose. So I guess because he did not see that zealot, I don't know, he just knew his opponent was banking a lot of money, so his opponent right there could have thrown down Nexus or could have thrown down 3 more gateways. There are, of course, both of those builds are very similar up until the very front there. So you have the gateway, you have the cybernetic score, and then 450 minerals, and you drop 400 into a Nexus, or you drop 3 more gates down. So it's very similar play, and the only thing that you can really use to tell is where are the chrono boosts being used, as usually they will save up those chrono boosts on the warp gate. And it looks like colNada going to be able to scout this out with some Marines, as the Stalkers do push out across the map, and colNada snuck them in on that long roundabout path right there. So it looks like he's going to go ahead and push up. A Stalker will be out in time to deal with these, but is Nada going to be able to pick off any probes? Nice micro right there from HwangSin, and it looks like he's going to lose 1 probe at the cost of 2 Marines, so not too bad right there. But HwangSin just using those for scouting for the most part. And you have to sacrifice units if you want to see what your opponent is doing. That's just in general with all races. So using as a Protoss player, you want to send over a probe, send over a Stalker, a Zealot, whatever it is. Terran, send an SCV, send a couple Marines. Zergs, send in Overlords, Lings. I mean, that's just the nature of the game. It is worth sacrificing that 1 unit if you can scout what your opponent is doing. And he went all the way up into the base right there. Did he see these additional gateways? Yes, he did. So he saw the 3 gate, and Robo as well going to come down, as most Protoss players now do open with that robotics facility just because the Banshee play is so common. If your opponent does any sort of 1-1-1, so he could have opened with that command center and gone into a 1-1-1 right there. And if you do not have the robotics facility, you basically lose, as you have nothing to do with Cloak Banshee. So it is very common to see players open like that, and we'll have to see what exactly he chooses to do elsewhere. He is picking up both of his gases right now, so possibly going to start getting a forge down soon, getting tech, or moving into fast Colossus. We'll have to see what exactly he chooses to do, what tech pack he chooses to take, and not in the meantime being a little defensive, throwing down those 2 bunkers after scouting the 3 gates, which is a good idea, as a lot of times you will see some players come in with some very strong, and there's the forges, yes, so he is going double fast chroned upgrades. Surprising to see both upgrades getting chroned out like that. A lot of times you will just see the one forge getting that ground armor, but no, he is going to get 1-1, so it's very possible we will see some sort of big timing attack right here, and a Twilight Council going down as well, so setting up a lot of tech for some sort of hit. Very possible. Right now he does have a few sentries just building up the energy, so force field is always useful, especially if he does get charge lot speed with that. And yes, he warps in more sentries, so that is what he is expecting to do right now, since he did scout Bio Army with his observer, is use the force fields to trap the Bio Army and then have all of those zealots charge in and just completely obliterate them. So nice reaction right there by our player HwangSin. And do we have any more scouting information from our Protoss player? So, did you see that? So, a building was cancelled, I would imagine, because that came down after the forge. So, he threw a building down and then cancelled it, and I'm sorry, I did not see what building that was. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and pick off the observer here of HwangSin, and Nada, with a decent supply lead right now, has a big unit count and is going to be pushing out across the map, and I'm not sure if HwangSin has enough to hold this. He does have force fields though, so he can delay for another warp in, and that is probably what he will need to do here, as his opponent does have a lot of upgrades. Combat shields about to finish, +1 has finished for him, and it is 1-1 though, and an immortal has popped out, so that will make a lot of these marauders kind of nullified. The more mortals out you have, the less and less effective those marauders become in that army, as marauders are very good against gateway units, but not so great against immortals, which also do that 55 damage. So here we go. We'll have to see if there's going to be some sort of push up. I would have imagined he might have pushed up with combat shields, but no, he's just going to hold his army there. He does get a scan to see what his opponent has, and I guess he sees enough force fields with enough energy there that he's possibly just going to wait, taking out these rocks, so he can at least force more force fields or create a bear choke if he is going to push up, and it looks like Nada possibly going to engage. We'll have to see what he chooses to do here. As of right now, he is just containing. He is starting his 3rd base, and medvacs are on the way. So now that the medvacs are here, he will be able to not only get some more vision of the high ground, but can do drops mixed in with his push up the front here, so it's very possible he pushes up, and here we go. We are going to have an engagement. Beautiful force fields go down by HwangSin though, so he is going to be able to stop all of that. Doesn't lose a single unit, I don't think. I think those minerals were lost before from the probe and such, so possibly losing 1 zealot, damaging a couple others, but able to pick off a few marines. Nada lands a factory here just to be annoying in case his opponent wants to take a 3rd. It will take him a little bit longer to get it, and every second in this game does matter. So charge lot speed is now on the way, and we will have to see if it can come down before the engagement, as well as the 2-2 to finish. So if he can have 2-2 versus his opponent's 1-0, that would be such a huge advantage for him. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and throw down more force fields anyways, block off half of the army, and engage the other half. So well done there. And Blink as well has gone down, so he actually picked up Blink first over Charge Lot, which I am very, very uncertain about. I'm not sure about that. Here, look, here we go. It looks like we're going to have the final engagement right here. Charge speed is not done, so his army is just going to get melted by this, but looks like he's able to get off some beautiful force fields, and there are tons of marauders in this army. The stalkers from above going to go ahead and pick this off, and surprisingly, it looks like HwangSin going to just completely obliterate that army, and now he's just going to push back. So the upgrade advantage was the huge part in that battle. If that would have been even upgrades, we would have completely seen that go the other way. Nada would have overtaken his base, and that would have probably been GG, but having the 2-2 upgrades versus opponent's 1-0, that just made it impossible for him to really overcome that, as each unit has 3 armor on it. So Marines only doing 4 damage instead of the 7 damage. That almost halves the damage that the Marines were doing to his army. And here we go, it looks like Nada going to go ahead and scout with this factory now. So once again, beautiful job scouting. And this is exactly what you should do with the factory when you are going for that biotech. Scout in, and did he see the robotics? No, he did not. So there is a robotics bay getting thermal lance, but unfortunately for Nada, he did not see it. Nada, however, still in a good position despite losing that battle, as he does have his 3rd up, while his opponent is just going to be getting a 3rd down right now, throwing up a few cannons for some defense. But wow, we are going to possibly see some sort of big push come with this 3-3 and extended thermal lance in Colossus here. So I would imagine as soon as the 3-3 finishes, and as soon as he has a couple more Colossus out, which he is chronoing out right now, there will be some massive 3 Colossus push, as that's what he is going to have to do to get back in this, or not get back in this, but bring the supply closer and everything. As you can see, our Terran player with a huge income lead, mining at 2,800 minerals per minute to his opponent's 1,100. So that is just going to boost Nada way up there, allow him to really remake that army, and Ghost have joined the army as well. So this is now very, very scary for HwangSin, as Ghost can hit some huge EMPs, wipe out all of the energy on those sentries, which would not allow force fields. And wiping out the energy, of course, on those immortals as well, gets rid of that hardened shield. So this could be very, very difficult for HwangSin to deal with, despite winning that last fight. But you have to remember, he does have the 3-3 about to finish, and his opponent's not going to scan that 3-3 is about to finish, but he should know that the upgrades are on the way. Just seeing how quickly our Protoss player did get those upgrades before. Templar Archives has gone down here, so he's going to be going into Archon play possibly for some tank and getting the Templar as well, just because Storm is so good against Bio Army. And if you remember back to the... Oh, who was it? It was Marine King Prime playing... It was just in the MLG, Columbus. So in MLG Columbus, Marine King Prime was playing some Protoss. I cannot remember who it was, and I apologize to that Protoss player, but he had such clutch storms. I mean, it was like he would lose his whole army, and then he would have two High Templars just running around the map randomly, and they would get off like 5 storms on the Bio army and completely obliterate it. And he did that enough times that he was able to win. So Storm, you cannot underestimate it, and it looks like Vikings now in production. There are 2 more that have been made, so he has 4 Vikings out to deal with these Colossus. And it looks like HwangSin gonna just try and build up to that max army. He does have Storm about to finish. Does he have any Templar in that army yet? Yes, he does. So how many Templar does he have? He has 4 Templar, and he just has to make sure to keep all of those magic units or energy units separated, so that when the ghosts do go to land their EMPs, they will not be effective here. And it looks like a probe going to go ahead and scout this army, and there is that ghost right there on the outside. Just a couple of ghosts, but they do have enough energy for 2 EMPs. He's going to go ahead and stim up right here, take out a few of these cannons. A nice storm goes off, not able to hit too much though. I'll have to see if the ghosts do anything. Another storm goes off, and that does a lot more damage right here. And it looks like he's trying to bait the army in for some sort of large EMP. And did an EMP go off? No, it did not. Not quite. And so the ghost, yes, it looks like he tried to land one, was unsuccessful. Huge storms go off, great force field. The Colossus is just going to be able to do so much damage. Even more storms just tearing apart Nada's army right here. It looks like Nada's not going to be in a very good position. It looks like more warpins of charge shots going to come through. The Zealots are just going to charge straight after these Marauders. He's going to go ahead and back up, but he is in a commanding position after winning that battle. And those 3-3 upgrades to his opponent's 2-2 once again still keep him in that lead. And now he's just going to push out across the map. His opponent has tried to establish a 4th right here, but we'll see if HwangSin is going to go deny it. It looks like he will, while taking a 4th of his own right behind this. So he's going to go over there, kill off his planetary fortress before it morphs in, possibly. No, he's going to avoid it. It's going to be very, very close. Does he even see that over there? He will after this. No, so he's going to completely miss that expansion. So Nada gets a freebie right there, getting expansion up, but Nada does not have many units at all right here to deal with this army pushing out across the map. How many Templar are left? We still have 6 Templar in the army right there, so plenty of storms left right there, and there are going to have to be clutch EMPs as it looks like HwangSin maxed out, now going to be pushing up. He knows he has the advantage, he just has to avoid huge EMPs. So it looks like no, an EMP does not go off yet, so nice storm goes down. A stim, and it looks like, oh, he is going to not be able to really get off any of the EMPs he needs to hit there, so this third base is going to go down, and the Archon is now standing over here, just holding that whole force back, and Nada knows that he's in trouble. He cannot deal with this army straight up, and he is using the snipe ability instead of EMP, so very, very interesting choice. That is not what I would do, and it looks like Nada possibly going to just try and go for a base trade of some sort, at least try and catch this army out of position, but it is 200 supply for our Protoss player with those D3 upgrades, and it looks like he's possibly going to pick off a few units here, picking off a couple of Stalkers, and now we are going to see the turnaround from HwangSin. He's going to go to engage. A nice storm goes off on all those Stalkers. Is he able to kill any? Not really, but they are very, very weak right now, so if he chooses to, he can drop another storm on them. No more storms go off, but the Archon's in front doing so much damage. The Immortal's right behind with the Colossus, able to just do a ton of damage, and there go all of the Vikings, and it looks like HwangSin is going to be able to push back Nada into a very poor position. Nada has some reinforcement right here, but is it enough to deal with this? I'm not quite sure. There are a lot of Archons and Immortals and Colossus. So much damage being done, and GG from Nada. So HwangSin able to win this game with some beautiful play right there. Beautiful storms. That was the decider right there. The upgrades, of course, at that second base, at his natural when Nada decided to push in, were what won him that battle, and then the force fields and the storms right there were able to really seal the deal. So GG. I hope you enjoyed this cast. I am trying out a new style here with using XSplit as the recorder instead of Fraps, as some people said I was getting some lag from Fraps. So let me know how this cast went for you, if there was any audio or visual quality drops or anything like that. And thank you for